What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Tyler's back, which means there's more technical problems. Thanks, man.
But he'll be gone next week.
No?
I mean, you've been every other week for like 2 months straight.
Yeah. I mean, I had good reason.
Yeah, no.
Last week was
pretty sure you're just sitting on the couch.
Last week was a good reason. It ended up being a bad reason. Well, I'll explain in a little bit.
Yeah. Did we do a good job of pimping your podcast?
Were you paying
Couldn't remember the
enough
name of
attention?
it.
I wasn't.
Couldn't remember what conference. It was awful.
It's all good. It is the Big 12. It's cool, though.
We told people Tyler has other things he talks about and
other podcast
on
things.
other podcasts.
I guess to clear the air, I do a Big 12 show on an online sports network, and the Big 12 had a team in the national championship last week. If you watch that, you know that they did terrible and got blown out 65-7. So I had to watch the game so I could comment and release some content on it. So,
well, you know what? Other teams weren't even there, so they can suck it.
Yeah, that's true. They weren't there. I will be honest, at halftime, I was like, man, I should just go to Brett's because it was like 30-something to 7. And I was like, ooh, I mean, I don't see this changing, but
I feel like we were already done.
Yeah, you guys were done like in the third quarter.
We only went an hour last week.
It was a quick episode. It's nice.
It's open
I won't
shut.
lie. Nice.
You know, reviewing really bad movies does wear me out, though, so...
Yeah, if you missed last week's episode, Luke had a whole bunch of things to talk about, and most.
I might have ended my 2022 year on. Well, it's not true because we reviewed Tar after.
Yeah,
but
so you had a really.
Did you watch Tar?
I was going to this week. I didn't get around to it.
But one of my last movies of 2022 was A Dumpster Fire. So
what was it? I haven't listened.
Noise.
Oh yeah, you texted me
horrible.
about that one. We were texting about something else, and you're like, dude. White noise.
But
rough.
Here's the thing. Actually, I'm going to go into my Google Sheet review rating, whatever I have right now, because I think Netflix puts out a dumpster fire every year for me.
Probably.
Let's go through it.
Check it while we work through our weeks.
I was going to say, we can chat real quick. I'll go first just because there's the least amount of things that I did comparatively. I got our podcast migrated to a new host. It's essentially all I did this week. Yeah. Hopefully that means nothing to anyone, because that means we did it correctly. Currently, the only platform I know we're having issues with is Google Podcasts. Everywhere else you should have all of the recent episodes. I have to manually upload some more still, but I made sure we got like the last year and then like the first. I'm kind of working my way from the beginning, so the first 3 seasons. Even though we've never referenced seasons in our, I had to post.
Last game of the season, Brett. Can't hold anything back now.
Wait, what season are we in now?
7. We're at the very end of episode season.
Makes
7.
me feel kind of old. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We are old.
One day we'll maybe at the beginning of season 8 we'll break down all those and reminisce.
We'll release them on Blu-ray.
Physical copies.
Director's cut.
With additional commentary.
Zack Snyder's What the Fanboy.
Can we release them in black and white too?
Yes.
Later. It will only be exclusive on HBO Max.
And we'll add a couple scenes too.
Lots of slow-mo.
Yeah. So
more slow-mo.
You can go to our website, whatthefanboy.com, if you have any issues and find. There's even a bunch of new podcast platforms that we're on now. So
dope.
Yeah. That's all I did.
Is our logo updated on Apple Podcasts?
It actually is. When I switched the RSS feed, it updated.
Goodness.
No way.
Yep. That was a whole.
I'm looking now.
3 years of. You may have to refresh, but it'll be there.
Listen, that old logo.
Oh, it is.
It's kind of near and dear to my heart, but
this isn't. Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, good times.
Oh, the
Good
OG
times.
logo. It's so beautiful.
I'm
Indeed.
glad it updated. That's cool.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that, man.
Hey, absolutely.
I know that was a lot.
It's fine. It was good. It was a good learning experience. So happy to do it. Tyler, what'd you do this week?
All right, I'll go quick because I did do quite a bit. Obviously, I missed last week, but I'm back. I shouldn't be missing any more weeks for anything unforeseen. Obviously, if I get
Thank
sick like I
goodness.
randomly did Saturday, God, that was terrible. I might miss then, but no. So I started Ted Lasso a long time ago, and then just kind of fell off of it. Not because I didn't think it was good, but because something else was coming out at the time, and I just did not have the time to watch it. But I watched Ted Lasso season 1 last week. That's a booyah, bona fide booyah, 100%. Finished Mythic Quest season 3. That was all finished up and aired, so I was able to watch the rest of that. That is also a booyah in my book. Mythic Quest gets overshadowed by For All Mankind, Ted Lasso, and a couple of those other shows.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I tell you what, that show's so good.
Yeah.
So good, and it continues to be one of my favorite shows on any streamer. The throwback episode in this season's incredible.
Nice.
It's about Ian and Poppy
when
they were kids. It's so good, and it explains so much. It's so good. Also, weird thing, I started a show called Invasion on Apple. I wanted to watch the first episode because I thought it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I'm not going to review it, obviously, but if you're into alien invasion stories and you're looking for something a little different, that might scratch the itch. I thought it was okay, but Apple might be like my favorite streamer.
Dude, no lie, Apple's great.
I just think of like the quality of everything they put out is so good.
Yeah.
Like Invasion to me, I was kind of like, yeah, it's all right, but it's still better than a lot of like what other streamers put out.
Right.
Like you're just like, no, this is really good stuff. It's just not doing it for me right
The
now.
only streamer with an Oscar.
That's
Best Picture, right?
can't be true.
Roma won.
Netflix has like
Sorry, Best Picture. Or the best. Sorry.
Yeah, that might be true.
Roma didn't win Best Picture. I
It
think
won
it was Best
International.
Director
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Anyways, Apple TV Plus is fantastic. If you don't have it and you're considering it, try it out, or just go buy a new iPhone and get a year of it for free.
Yeah.
I watched The Menu. Brett had watched and reviewed that one a while back, so I'm not going to go too far into it.
I'm curious about your thoughts though.
Other than to say, performances are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most tightly written movies of the year, I think. And Ray Fiennes deserves his own category for just being absolutely incredible. And I never thought in a million years Nicholas Hoult would be a good douchebag. But
yeah.
gosh, he's good.
Yeah.
He's such a good D-bag in that movie.
Like good at being a...
Yes. He's very, very good in that movie. And you kind of hate him.
Yeah.
But he's really good at it.
It's nice. The movie does a good job of
unraveling everything.
Yeah,
dude.
It's not like from
so
the
great.
start you're like, I dislike this character. It's like I may be a little annoyed by this character, but like slowly it just unwinds.
Yeah, it's like a big yarn ball. Yeah, it's like a giant yarn ball
And
that
it's
like
great.
as the movie kind of unfolds. Like even with the actor, the guy who's the actor, Leguizamo, his character.
Mm-hmm.
Even like his stuff that unravels between him and his assistant and kind of like who he is. Super interesting. The taco scene is like peak unraveling moment. I think it's when everything's like, oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. It has a lot to say about how, critics take the joy out of art. I think that's pretty. It's a pretty interesting kind of commentary on fandom a little
Absolutely.
bit. And it's really good. I highly recommend it. I give it a fanboy worthy. It's teetering on that booyah line for me though. I loved it.
Nice.
Watched Abominable. It's an animated movie, came out several years ago. Fanboy worthy. It's nice to watch an animated movie that's not a Disney movie, and that's not terrible.
Yes.
And then friend of the show Easton from the Movie Moron, he came over, him and his wife, and we watched Hereditary.
It's spam. Shout out to the spam in the chat.
Shout out to spam in the chat. No, Easton came over. We watched Hereditary. Highly recommend that movie if you're a horror movie fan. I am not ready to crown it as the best horror movie of all time, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. Gives me a lot of the kind of same. This is going to sound weird to say, but I think a lot of the DNA in that movie is a lot of the same DNA that's used in The Conjuring.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I think if you watch those two back to back, you'll kind of get what I'm saying. But it's really good. Ari Aster is a director worth following along with. I thought both of his movies that I've watched have been really good.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for his next movie. That looks really weird, and I'm super in for it.
Once again, very weird.
Yeah. And I liked Hereditary more than Midsummer. I will say that.
That's
I think it's a much better movie.
I think it's a better movie.
Yeah. I don't think Midsummer's bad. I think Hereditary is just that much better.
Yeah.
Also, Hereditary with one of the like all-time shocker moments in a movie for me. The car ride.
Oh yeah.
I was like, bro, what? I did not see this coming. But no, it's really good, fanboy worthy. I watched a lot of really good stuff, and then last really good thing I watched for slight tease for later is The Last of Us. And we'll talk about that.
What a tease! What a tease, Luke. What about you?
What did you find in your Netflix sleuthing on?
It's like over 50%.
Really?
For as long as we've been doing this show.
Wow.
Like
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's probably like 70%.
Wow.
Well, I should say at least
Yeesh.
one dumpster fire a year that is like just straight from Netflix. It's like track record. At least for movies.
Every now and again they'll put one out that's decent, but the
Movie?
movies are like every now and again they'll have a
They have
decent
one
movie.
Oscar contender every year as well.
Yeah.
Weird.
Like Roa and Power of the Dog, and I don't know if they have one this year. I'm assuming they thought it was going to be White Noise with
It'll be
Bombay again.
Pinocchio.
That's right. Okay. Yeah,
Took home a
Pinocchio.
Golden Globe. It'll probably win Best Animated. So
Sorry, Guillermo. Never going to see it.
I still need to watch.
it's a good movie. Good movie.
I'll
I know. I'm not here to convince Luke. I'm here to convince Tyler. It's a good movie.
I'll let all
I'll watch
the
it.
other people enjoy it.
If we have to convince you to watch one movie that you were probably out on, it's The Menu. You should watch The Menu.
I'll get to that eventually.
I think you'd like it.
I think you would too.
I've heard all I hear is good things, so I'll watch it.
I think it'll surprise
All
you.
you're hearing is good things about Pinocchio.
Oh,
that's different.
Especially compared to the other two that came out this year.
Thank you, JT. I also watched more My Hero Academia. Really good.
Oh.
I'm digging it.
The thing about Pinocchio, though, is I hate the original Pinocchio.
Yeah, this one's very little
And
like
it's
the
stop
original.
motion.
Okay, fair enough. Tell us about things you actually want to talk about.
I only actually did
His hair was on fire. I don't know what's going on.
one thing. I finally beat Death Stranding.
I audibly yelled, "Yeah!" when I messaged you back. I was actually really excited.
Yeah,
You've been talking about how much you enjoyed that game for a long time. But not love it, just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's nice to.
And then now I'm over here tonight going, "Whoa!" talking about all the crazy stuff that happens in the last act. Yeah, it's kind of similar to you with your Apple shows. I kind of just bought that on a whim because I enjoyed the soundtrack because I randomly listened to it. The reviews were kind of all over the place. We were like, this is stupid. Or they said, this is the best game I've ever played.
Yeah, it was super polarizing. It was one side of fandom was like, this is amazing, and the other side was like, yeah, this sucks.
And I think the best part about it is the swing that Kojima took with literally creating a new genre of game.
Yeah.
It's really an action game. I guess it's kind of an adventure game. It's like a adventure exploration simulator. I don't know. Because for 70% of the game, you're traversing mountain ranges with just tons of weight on your back.
It's fascinating too how much that that's saying that I'm just as someone who hasn't played it, that sounds so silly. But how much stuff you put on your back, it has such a profound effect on gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even watch the video that you showed me where it's like people you're running and jumping. I'm like, I don't even know how you balance with even a half of the
L2 and R2.
I mean, I know how, but I can't do it.
Did the adaptive triggers impact it on the PS5? No. Okay.
No, thank goodness, because honestly,
that would make it hard.
I think I would have giant muscles on my index.
You'd have the pinky biceps, but on your index fingers.
Yeah, Sometimes the adaptive triggers are like, okay, my hand's a little tired.
Dude, some of them have hard trigger pulls.
You also kind of get used to it though. Like in God of War, I'd be like, oh man, my hands are kind of tired. And by the time it's the end of the game, it's like, I don't really.
Yeah.
But it's a new genre. I would say games like that gave existed this is
Like
just
that
the biggest
game.
mainstream version of that type of game.
Jesus, JT, proofread.
Yeah, I'd say kind of.
It's okay, JT. We forgive you.
It's like a mix of some weird indie game mixed with the insane bananas brain of Kojima. Because there's nothing normal in this game. Nothing. And I feel like every cutscene, I'm just like, what? What the heck? What is this? Monsters are popping out of the ground. It's going, oh my gosh. It's one of the craziest worlds I've ever dived into. And it just, what he created felt so original to me. Like the beach and the BTs and how you use the BBs. It's the B. I like what you did, Kojima. But I just loved it. My tweet was it's either extremely relaxing because what you're doing is like you're just walking through the wilderness, up mountains, climbing ladders, descending down ropes, balancing all this stuff on your back, delivering stuff, and like a random chill song comes up, and it's like legit music that they made for the game. So it's just so soothing. And then boom, instantly you're in a BT field and you're just like, oh my gosh. You're sneaking around, you're holding your breath, trying not to get caught, and eventually you get into a part in the game where you can actually kill the BTs, or you can like shoot them, and you shoot them with your own blood, and it's just so much fun. And I bought into it and I loved it. I actually think it's one of my favorite games. And when I say one of my favorite games, is like in my top 10.
Dang.
I'm so excited for the second one. But I feel bad because I stopped playing it for so long when it came out, and I'm pretty sure it's because just something else came out.
Probably.
I think it might have been Beyond Light.
Classic Destiny, throwing a wrench into Luke's.
What was your
any other plans?
What was your time played on it? Does it? Have
I think it was over, it was like 50 hours,
Whew.
And I did not do a lot of side stuff.
Meaty game.
I think most of the side stuff I did. This is also a really cool part of the game, and I would say this is unique back in the day, but I feel like it's become more of a thing now, especially with Elden Ring, which is like if I leave a ladder on the ground to climb over the little ravine, other people in my server can use it.
Yeah.
You like give likes to it, and you get that, and like gives you rep.
Yeah. I love the way Elden Ring kind of uses
like
that
you
system.
can leave
It's
notes
so
and
cool.
stuff for people.
Yeah.
And I think that's I don't know if it's the first one either, but I just think it's a super cool, unique.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that games are doing that.
Yep. I like it too.
My original rating, even though I hadn't beaten it, was a fanboy worthy, and I stand by that. I absolutely love it. It does have some writing issues. There's lots of exposition, and it can kind of weigh on you sometimes because it's just getting so much thrown at you with everything that's going on. I think the acting is great. The world makes it all worth it. And just the gameplay was some of my favorite. But I would feel so bad if I would say everybody needs to play this game. Like, for instance, Brett. And it's just like, this is not working for me.
It's such an yeah.
It's
an interesting premise. I love the world. I would much rather. I think I would enjoy it more as a TV show or a movie. And I know you hated the thought of that last week, Luke. But
I don't listen. I don't hate it. I'm a little discouraged by the thought of video game movies now. Show, yes, 100%. Do it. Be awesome. But yeah, it's so hard to recommend to people because you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it, and there's no in between.
Yeah,
and that tracks, like you said earlier, with the reviews for it. Like that's a pretty common theme.
If you play it and you're like, this is pretty cool, you're not gonna play it.
You got to be in.
You don't like it enough.
Yeah.
It takes so much time. The fast travel system is pretty much non-existent, and it literally disappears at the end of the game. Sorry, spoilers. The last like couple missions, like the last act, honestly, I had so much fun because it's just this. Oh, there's so much going on. We wish I could spoil it for people.
Should put up a little review on the website.
Yeah,
Like a
There
full
you go.
spoiler-free.
Yeah.
A spoiler
Yeah.
review.
And another thing I appreciate about it is the boss fights where you're actually like using guns. They're not that bad. It's just like, here's a cool thing. They made a good combat system, but they didn't make it complicated, which I really appreciate. The UI and the transport service you're running is complicated enough. So I'm glad they're just like, yes, just shoot him.
Yeah, we're not going to give you all these crazy
Maybe throw a grenade.
mechanics.
Be fine. Sneak around. Maybe you don't need to fight him. But Demon's Soul back on PS3 might have been the first games that did that with online. Wow, that's a lot farther back than I expected.
I love that though. I thought that was honestly like that's one of my favorite things of Elden Ring is that similar. I think it'd be really cool. Like
Try finger, but hole.
yes. I think that'd be really cool though. Like in Death Stranding, you're traversing an environment and there's like, oh hey, somebody left this here. That's kind of nice.
It's even really cool because like sometimes you'll be in a pinch surrounded by BTs, and probably know what that means. The bad guys, the evil demon things from hell or something. I don't even really fully understand it. It's a complicated story, and you'll just dump stuff that you don't really need, so you can just run, and you don't really have to maintain your balance. Just run. And later you'll get a notification. So-and-so gamer tag delivered your lost cargo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and like I've picked up other people's stuff if I'm heading there. Free XP.
You know what's crazy about that? Pokemon Legends Arceus does that. Like if someone gets defeated, you can pick up their things and send it back to them. It's kind of cool. I'm guessing that's where they got it from.
Yeah, and like you don't have like one vehicle. You eventually make a vehicle, but you just use everybody else's. If there's a cart there, I'm taking it and I'm going. It's mine now.
That's so awesome.
Really cool server stuff. Cannot wait for Death Stranding 2.
Can't wait to hear you talk about it. You're gonna hate this. I'm probably gonna read the novelization of it.
I don't hate that.
I think it would be more digestible for me.
Maybe. Who's writing it?
Kojima.
Oh boy.
I think that's who's doing it. I don't know. I'll look it up later.
Cool.
But yeah, that was really the only thing I did. I guess here I got this right here from Brett.
Oh yeah, we gotta review this. What is it?
This is Flamin' Hot Cheeto Mountain Dew.
Hold on, but Luke, before you actually try this, I want to preface that I didn't just go out and buy this. This was a White Elephant gift exchange gift that I got this year for Christmas. So I'm curious. Tell us how it is.
A picture of a lime?
I snuck the novelization book 1 into my Amazon cart. I'm gonna see if Dana accidentally buys it for me. I'll try it too, Luke.
Why is it spicy?
Is it bad?
Will you finish it?
Yeah, I'll finish it. Honestly, it tastes
Okay.
like Mountain Dew with a spicy aftertaste.
Try it.
COVID is still a thing, my brother.
I'll try one later.
This is the guy who was like, I was
true,
throwing
yeah.
up on Saturday.
I didn't throw up. I never threw up. That's true. Good call. I'll try it.
You can take one to go.
It doesn't taste like Cheetos. Well, hold on.
while Luke decides it just tastes like Cheetos.
It's pretty good.
We need a review of food items section every week now.
Oh,
My nose might start running though, because it's not like spicy. It's just like it feels like you ate something spicy.
Just got some heat.
It's like when you went overboard on the queso at some Mexican restaurant, and you're just like, my nose feels thin.
Yes. I get what you mean.
It's that feeling. Man, I kind of want some queso too.
JT, Luke just became a scientist as you were sitting there like sifting the soda back and forth.
I mean, I guess I couldn't do it anymore. I could have done a full scientific experiment, hypothesis, if then statement. If I taste this Mountain Dew, it will taste spicy. Does not. Experiment failed.
Okay. Let's get this
We
thing
can
back
move
on.
on. We can keep moving.
Can you make
Yeah.
a hypothesis after the experiment, though? I'd rather be a mad scientist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, I'd rather be an astronaut straight up.
Okay. Trailers. Good lord. There were a couple trailers.
I'm
The
all
biggest
jacked up on Mountain
one,
Dew.
clearly, the biggest one being the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We got our first real trailer for that film last week during the big. Oh, it was during
During
our
the national
show. It was during
championship.
the national championship game. What do you guys think?
I can't wait for this movie to come out and be like overly funny. I say that because it's like such a serious trailer.
Well, did you see the reshoot rumors?
I'm on to you, Marvel.
Uh-oh,
No.
what were they?
So the rumor was that when was it Peyton Reed? That's the director, right?
Yeah.
When he turned in his cut, Marvel wasn't happy with the lack of jokes, so they made him reshoot to add comedy to it.
I feel like that's...
But that's like as recent as this week. The movie comes out in like 3 weeks. So I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. Just because...
It also feels very pinpointed.
Yeah. To me, that's something that's going to come up during dailies. Like, why are we not seeing any jokes?
Right.
Why is this
Like-
movie so depressing?
That gets caught during production. Not that they never reshoot stuff, but it's a Marvel movie. They know their formula. Clearly, we've seen it 30 times now. And so I mean, there's a chance maybe there weren't as many jokes, and maybe they didn't hit as much, so they needed to reshoot for comedy. But that feels like a stretch. I don't know. Anything could be true though.
I think the story looks interesting. I like the first two Ant-Man movies. I kind of do like them too because they are goofy.
Yeah.
But man, I really like that first one because it's a heist movie.
Yeah.
They rob an old man's house. They rob Microsoft or whatever.
Yeah. And now we're robbing the no, it's not even robbing.
Now we're in the
It's-
quantum realm and fighting King the Conqueror, and it's like, this is just such a jump. Even just from the second one.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it looks fun. We'll see.
They've got a good cast. I
true.
enjoy the chemistry of all those actors and actresses, characters together.
Majors is a pretty good actor.
It could get it does feel like it may be getting a little busy. A little Avengers level-y with the number of characters. But at the end of the day, I would agree that it still looks fun.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of Doctor Strange, and I got some major Doctor Strange vibes near the end of this, where Scott's like, "I don't have to win, we both just have to, or
We both have to
lose," type of thing. Where that's like a very, very Doctor Strange
I think the most
vibe, except in Multiverse of Madness, we don't know what that vibe was.
was just all around bad vibes. I think the only thing I really dislike about the trailer is that just looks the same visually as every other Marvel movie.
It's a total, and we talked about this when the first teaser came out, I think, where it's like it just looks like a Marvel movie filmed on a blue screen, right? Like
There's no
the quantum realm is completely sorry, I mean, we didn't get any like sunset shots or whatever.
Quantum Realm sunset.
You know,
I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah. So sleep will help.
When you have your entire thing is built like that, and it does kind of feel like a Guardians movie, or it didn't feel like it had its own real visual uniqueness to what we've already seen in the MCU. That said, I don't know, like, those VFX artists are overworked and underpaid as they are, so
Yeah.
I'll judge Marvel. I'm not judging them.
I'm not excited for it.
That's fine. Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, oh, I can smell that.
No, really? You smell like Cheetos?
Kind of.
Dude, I'm like feeling it brewing in my tummy.
Maybe I
It's
don't
gonna
want
have
to try one.
bolt after.
Yeah, I don't know.
20 minutes.
For all the reasons you guys are talking about, like, it just looks like the same thing we've gotten the last 5 movies.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of tired of it.
That's fair.
This is phase 5, though.
Yeah.
This is a new starting point for Marvel. Phase 4 happened. Now we can move into phase 5.
Like, can we get, like, a street level movie?
Not no more. Ain't no such thing. Street level things are for Disney Plus, sir.
They don't even do that on Disney Plus.
That's true.
Like, everything is Avengers level stuff. I don't know.
That was street level.
Right. I mean, I'll watch this, and I like the first 2 Ant-Mans a lot. I don't know. Jonathan Majors, for me, is going to be the saving grace of this movie. I just think he's such a good actor. I think he'll do a good job. And he's actually come out and said, like, he is very, very opposite of what Marvel's gotten before. Like, he's not going to be funny. He's not going to be...
Well, okay.
But, I mean...
Christian Bale wasn't in...
Yeah. But that movie just sucked all the way through.
Love and Thunder.
So much so that they're talking about casting him for a different role. Like,
really?
That was,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's come out and said, like, he'd go back and do a different role.
Good for him. Get that money, Christian.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll watch this. It's like a teetering down sideways thumb.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'd give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think it's a thumbs up, although I would not say I'm hyped about it. I just think... Yeah. Man,
what's after this?
Tyler's talk is bringing me down on it. Thanks, man.
What movie's after this for Marvel?
Guardians.
Oh, that's a thumbs up, though. I'm excited for that.
that.
I'm excited for the guy who's ruining the DC universe before he's announced anything to make a good movie.
What? He already ruined it?
Yeah.
Didn't hear. The other trailer that at least Luke and I watched here.
Sounds like Tyler watched it.
What?
Wait, what?
What trailer?
I don't know. I didn't say a trailer, but Luke assumed a trailer. Luke, what trailer?
Bo's Afraid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched the trailer.
Bo is Afraid. It's the Ari Aster. You even mentioned that earlier.
I did.
I'm just an idiot.
Well.
Starring Joaquin Phoenix and Joaquin Phoenix and Joaquin Phoenix.
And Joaquin.
And Joaquin Phoenix.
4. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different ages. I watched this trailer and I didn't understand it, and I said, I'm not gonna watch again. I don't want to understand it. I'm just here for the ride.
Right.
So that was a thumbs up for me. What did you guys think?
A thumbs up for me as well. It looks interesting, and I'm very curious to see what Ari Aster does with something that I think is still considered to be a horror movie. Judging by, like, the synopsis, it sounds like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But the trailer does not give me any kind of horror feeling.
I feel like he is really playing with genre.
Yeah,
in his career. He wants to break the mold.
And he uses the way he views horror, this is kind of to support what you're saying, is he uses the definition of horror, but not like in the traditional sense. Right. It's like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not what you think. Like, for this, I think it's probably going to have something to do with aging.
Yeah.
Just based on the 4
it's
different
logical.
ages. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Midsummer doesn't go the way you think it's going to. Hereditary definitely doesn't go the way you think it's going to. So this will not go the way I think it's going to go. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. What do you think of it?
I don't know. I'm sideways on it. Thought I looked
Fine.
interesting because of the weird stuff, but I don't know.
I also feel like you haven't been as high on Joaquin of late. Maybe just because of Joker, but
listen, he was great in Joker. He was great, but the praise that movie gets really does annoy me for being a complete ripoff of other movies and not really doing anything special. I don't know.
he said it. There, he said it.
So, Joker movie night?
Yeah, for
Fun.
sure. The last one that I have down here is History of the World Part 2.
Oh, we did watch that.
A 4-part little miniseries on Hulu with 1,000 stars and what looks like to be just a grand old fun Mel Brooks time.
I laughed a lot during this trailer, but at the same time, like, I don't know if this is going to be good. I haven't seen A History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
It gave me
I
don't know if that type of movie can, like, survive this day and age.
Being
feels
now.
like a time gone by with that type of movie.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you ever watched, I think it was Comedy Central, like Drunk History.
Yeah.
But it gave me those vibes. And I think if it comes across more like a bunch of SNL skits, I think it'll be fine.
Dude, Drunk History was
because
great.
those things will get, the little bits will get pulled out, thrown on social media, and it'll live solidly.
Memes.
Yeah. So it'll just be if the performances nail that, I think. But who knows? All right. Other trailers, are we good?
There's supposed to be a Mandalorian trailer tonight. We haven't seen it.
When is Mandalorian supposed to come out? This winter?
March.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, since we're talking about Star Wars, I
It's
just
fair.
remembered the other thing that I did this week.
You watched Bad?
I watched The Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to review this every week, but the episode was so good.
Nice.
It might be the best episode of The Bad Batch. It deals with Crosshair, who is part of the Bad Batch, but he's like bad.
Yeah.
Like he's actually on the side of the Empire. And he teams up with Cody from the Clone Wars. If you don't know who that is, he's the one that shoots Kenobi out of the sky off his little lizard buddy. And they go on a mission to take down an old separatist planet and bring them into the fold of the Empire. And it was so good. It was so sad just watching like Cody be like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
What we're doing. And Crosshair is another better version of Deadshot. There's always a better version of Deadshot. He's like bouncing lasers off walls. Every time there's a new character, I get more annoyed with that Suicide Squad character. He bounced one bullet off of one pole and he never did it again. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it was so good. It felt a lot more like Clone Wars with the later seasons, where it's characters dealing with pretty big internal issues.
Yeah.
Not just, hey, lasers, Death Star, coolio, Star Wars is cool.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're watching characters that we've known for a long time go through things and like question their loyalty.
Right.
Oh my goodness, if the show can keep that up, it's gonna be really good. And I said it when the premiere happened. It was like, usually the first season is kind of like, oh, we're kid friendly, and then they jump into the next season. It's like, we're gonna kill everybody.
Well,
Speaking of Star Wars, they started replaying Fallen Order on Harmo this week.
Oh.
Sorry,
JT. No, I thought you had started another game yet.
No.
This was JT, yeah. Oh, hard mode, JT. Woo.
I would never play a game ever on hard mode.
He's a Souls guy, though.
Yeah, glutton for punishment.
That
Good
game
for
is
you.
a Souls light, so
It
it'll
is.
probably be pretty good at it.
Yeah. All right, moving over into news. We got teased this week that Avatar Studios. This is not James Cameron's Avatar. Avatar Studios, the last Airbender people. They're making they announced that their second animated movie is going to focus on Zuko.
They've announced a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And like the roadmap is like 6 years out or something.
And I'm not mad at any of it.
No.
I think it's because they. That's probably why they abandoned the live action project, is to work on a lot of this animated stuff.
Yeah, I would think so.
With me.
Yep.
I'm still super excited for that though too. Because there's no way it can be as bad
as the Shamhammer.
as the Shamhammer's live action. Like, it's one of the worst movies ever made. If it's worse than that, honestly, you deserve an award.
We need a commentary on.
That's a feat. You did something incredible if you made something that bad.
We need to record a commentary of the Shamhammer Avatar.
You are just haters.
Yes.
Yes.
We should. We haven't done a movie commentary.
We need to do
since 2019.
We need to get on that. Let's put up like a poll in the Discord.
Okay.
And see, like, pick 4 movies.
Yeah.
And see what gets voted.
Yeah.
Yes, JT, I am a hater. I hate the Shamhammers. The Avatar movie. It's horrible.
Oh my goodness.
We gotta get Brett and you very excited after drinking.
Inebriated?
Yes. I'll drive you home.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. My note is literally, apparently someone's making a Passion of the Christ too.
Oh, that was real?
I think it's filming.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Like the tweet I sent you of Cargill's thing obviously was not.
I honestly just figured somebody like
It begins
asked a
filming
random
this year.
like Gail Simone asked some random question and that was like one of the answers that took off. Like, oh,
Mel
Passion of the
Gibson's
Christ
directing it.
Oh boy.
Good for him. Good for Mel.
Why does he do this?
He's waited long enough. He's like, the dust hasn't settled.
The dust will never
It
settle.
It won't ever settle. No, for sure.
It's like he made a really good movie with the one with Andrew Garfield where he kicked the grenade, but like you still know what you did.
Ooh, the Mando trailer just dropped. We maybe we'll check it out at the very end of the show.
Sounds fun.
Do that. Yep. Okay. Agatha Coven of Chaos begins production tomorrow. Tomorrow, from when we're recording this, and there's no director, so the writer and executive producer Zach Schaefer is stepping up to direct. That's always a great sign.
Listen, Marvel, listen. If something isn't working out, you're allowed to postpone or cancel projects. Studios do it all the time.
Yeah, but it
and you're allowed to do it.
It has to fit into the roadmap, and the things that happen in this, they play a part in what happens in the next thing.
I just want to focus on the core characters of who the Avengers are going to be.
Oh no,
that's what made Phase 1, 2, and 3 good. Here's your characters.
This is a minor side villain that we need to know everything
Here's
about.
your characters. Here's the threat. Watch them die. Now they're back. Now it's just like, I don't know. It feels weird saying this because obviously it all is a cash grab. But phases 1, 2, and 3 felt like they were trying to make something interesting. And now it just feels like, what's going to make us money? That's it. It's like, okay, we need another Disney Plus show so that people don't unsubscribe. And Star Wars is taking a break, so let's do the spin-off of the Wanda girl. Sure.
Yeah, people like Catherine Hahn.
Good actress. I like her in things. I don't necessarily want to see more Agatha. Not Agatha. I was going to say Agatha Christie. I was like, no, wait.
Agatha Harkness?
Yeah. Anyways.
Like, I feel like there's some projects, like a Miss Marvel show, makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't love the show, but at least having that character have a show makes sense. We're introducing her, so it makes sense why she's in this movie. It's like, oh, here's this show about a witch.
Yeah.
No, not the main witch, the other witch. The one that lost. Oh my gosh.
You have DC who's canceling everything, and you have Marvel who just refuses to cancel anything.
Green light.
Remember
Keep
when
it green lit?
Everybody thought Armor Wars wasn't going to happen? They're like, nope, it's a movie.
It's actually a movie.
Dude, JT, we were talking about that before the show.
Increase the budget. Yeah,
Vox Machina Season 2 just kind of came out with like zero marketing.
I think they did that for like the first season too. There's like, hey, here's our D&D show based on a D&D show.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
Critical
Role.
The only news story I have this week is Hogwarts Legacy is the #1 selling game on Steam. Comes out in a month. Yeah, it's doing really well.
That's crazy.
It is blowing up. People are very excited. Everything they've shown, it looks phenomenal. I'm very excited for that game. Is it out?
Box?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Must be coming out soon.
It'll probably come out on Friday.
That's true.
It says 0. It says 0 episodes, so it's. I mean, it's got
gotta
a
be
little
coming
thing.
out
It's
pretty
coming out
quick.
this week for sure. For sure. No, I'm so hyped about
Vox Machina
Season 2.
Was
It's
so
great.
good.
Great.
January 20th. So yep, this Friday.
Yep. Sweet. Okay. Luke, did you have some news
Did I?
before
Hold
I
on.
continue with mine?
Let's see. No, Helen Hunt has not signed on
Dang it!
to the Twister sequel yet.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
man.
Sorry. Pay the woman. Give her money.
That's right. I got 12 cents.
I'll throw in $1.
Nice.
Why are you paying her? The studio needs to pay her.
I'll pay for her residuals. How about that? Actually, that's too much.
I'm gonna say that's
For
probably a
for
lot
Helen-
of money.
for Helen Hunt, yeah, it probably is.
You're balling. Is there something you need to tell us that you're doing on the side? Goodness gracious.
It's my second podcast.
There you go.
Tyler had one, and so I had to get one too. Okay, I have a couple more news stories. First off, that just kind of came out today. Justin Roiland has been charged with 2 felonies related to domestic battery and menace.
Who?
The creator, one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty.
Okay.
I know Luke doesn't care.
No, it's just more like not really surprising.
Oh, fair. So, but I mean, the surprising thing was that these
The unsurprising part is that he's white and is probably going to get away with it.
this stuff happened in 2020, like January of 2020, and it was all kept under wraps until like today, where there was like a court hearing or a court I guess a hearing is what it would be. I mean, it just sucks that people do bad things.
Speaking of people who do bad things, there's a news story I just remembered. Ezra Miller is pleading guilty.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. To
The
home invasion.
The burglary and home invasion charges, yeah.
It's like $600 probation or something. I don't know how
He's
that
got
works.
a lot of he's on probation I think for a year, but like the probation's super strict. Like super
needs to
strict.
be.
Like there was like no obviously contact with the people. Has to go to has to meet with a counselor several times a week. He can't have any alcohol, like at all, throughout
Good.
his probation. Like all kinds of stuff. It's pretty strict rules.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we'll see if they violate it or not.
I still think people need to have consequences, obviously. It seems like the rich and famous constantly get away with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it also kind of sounds like maybe therapy might be helping.
Yeah, it's
which
been real
is
quiet.
good.
It's been
Yeah.
real quiet on that front for a while.
I think more people need to think about that as like you're going through a tough time. Like, I know it's not always cheap, and if you don't have like decent health insurance, like it can be tough. But definitely recommend, spending a couple $100s on therapy versus a couple $100s on liquor or something like that. Like
Yes.
that is the better way to go. It's healthier. Take care of yourself.
Speaking of drinks, this tastes more like Cheetos the farther down you get into it.
Is that just your taste buds being fried from the heat?
Honestly, my tongue does kind of feel like when you've eaten a lot of Cheetos and it starts to feel a little sore.
Uh-huh.
Kind of feels like that.
I don't want one anymore.
That's terrifying.
I still think it tastes good.
Here, I'll try one next week, and
I'm
I'll
not
give you
here.
my. Well, every week we'll have a different fanboy review the.
Yeah, push mine out
Flamin'
as
Hot
far as
Cheetos.
possible.
It's not like Cheetos. It's more like I can feel the Cheeto.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel you, Cheeto.
2 last stories for me before we get over into The Last of Us. Skull and Bones was delayed once again. That game is never coming out. I'm convinced of it. Agree?
I think it'll come out.
Okay,
It'll be free to play.
It's gonna go to Game Pass.
No, it'll go to PlayStation because they have the.
No, it's gonna go to Game Pass. It's like the most wild thing I can think of. This is a Sony Ubisoft exclusive.
Goes to Game Pass.
It's like, man, we gotta make some money on this. So the Game Pass.
Xbox will pimp it too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They'll just change the code.
They'll be like, come into Game Pass day 1, and everybody will be like, oh.
Then they'll just rewrite the code and just put it all into Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
They'll be like, so can I just replay Skyrim again? I'd rather do that.
Man, I haven't rebought Skyrim in a while. Maybe we should do that.
You should do that.
Just go buy it off the store for no reason.
I need to buy it for my Alexa.
Buy it for your Switch.
Story
I already have it for the Switch.
Is that back in December, the Wizards of the Coast, who is the owners of the D&D franchise, a new licensing agreement kind of leaked online. It was supposed to go into effect last week, at the end of last week, I think, or this weekend. And there was a big uproar here in the last week from D&D players and content creators who kind of they make their living off of the ability to make money. And this wouldn't have completely removed the ability to make money, but it would have given Wizards of the Coast a much larger cut of what they make, or I mean any cut, because right now they don't. It's an open game license currently. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. It looked pretty poorly written, not in terms of grammar, but just kind of sleazy and
a lot of run-on statements and then
yeah,
some reallys and varies in there.
Yeah,
I wrote it. That's why.
Oh my gosh, I should have put that together.
That's what my Death Stranding spoiler review is gonna be. I really liked this game a lot. It was very fun. I had a really good time playing it. Got to get that word count up. Learned that in high school.
Okay.
Carried you through college, didn't it?
We can now move on to our main topic, which is The Last of Us.
Sorry, JT.
Episode 1 over on HBO dropped last night. An hour and 20 minutes. This show is based off of the
best game ever.
Best game ever, according to Luke and many other people, actually. People love this game.
They're gonna put that on the Blu-ray box. Based on the best game ever. Luke, some kid on Twitch. Kid, I'm 30.
They're gonna put Luke Zilk.
He's young at heart.
They're gonna spell my name wrong.
Zeelk.
No, they'll probably spell it Ziekle, which is how they spelled my name forever at work. All my name tags.
Yeah, the fact that your work spelled your name wrong.
I didn't say anything. I didn't care.
I feel like it's a red flag for a poor work environment.
See, here's the normal person would be like, "Hey, you spelled my name wrong." But then there's me, who just doesn't care, because I don't know. I kind of liked it too.
Does your money go into your bank account?
Yep.
Yes.
Who
cares?
I kind of felt special because I'm the guy who has their name spelled wrong.
Bye, JT. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, if you have not watched The Last of Us at this point, The Last of Us episode 1, we will probably get into spoilers just out of the nature of discussion. But we can real quick talk about general impressions. This is a pilot essentially, so it's doing a lot of setup, not a ton to maybe spoil, but there are things that want to go in blind. I can honor and respect that. So Luke, being the biggest fanboy of The Last of Us, at this table at least, what are your thoughts on the episode 1?
I don't want to jump the gun on this, but I feel pretty confident in saying that when you're gonna adapt a video game into something, I need you to take those binoculars, look straight at this show, because it feels like it's going to just nail it across the board. There's so much great inspiration in these hour and 20 minutes taken from the game. Some stuff, like copy paste where it matters. And then at the same time, they're adding in brand new stuff, and it just hits so hard.
Yeah.
And I need producers and directors and writers to go, what made this good? It's when you base your movie or show off the game, it helps.
I think it's also important to remember that, like, this is an incredibly well-written game already.
It's true.
With fantastic... Like, I haven't even played the game, but what I've seen... And what I've heard, review-wise, like, from the games, is that they're incredibly compelling characters, and you care about them. And that... I mean, that's such a solid foundation for whatever you're going to do. Then you add in the fact that Druckmann's an executive producer on it. You add in an amazing writer, Craig Mazin.
Mm-hmm.
Great actors. Like, how are you gonna miss?
Yeah.
I say that, and places have missed before, but I think this was kind of the perfect recipe for success.
Yeah, I think it too helps. Like, yes, Druckmann is working on it, and you have Mazin, who loved The Last of Us. We have people that care about the property already, where a lot of times, like, Uncharted, or even, like, I would maybe say Halo, it's like, we, as a company, want somebody to adapt this.
Right.
Whereas this, you had the game director and Craig Mazin, like, both being like, I want to adapt this.
Yeah.
Because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And I want to give it the care and attention it deserves. I would just echo everything Luke says. I think this is like, there's a lot of reservation about taking things from a game or a book or a comic book and doing it shot for shot. I think this show is the best representation of how it works. Like, if you do it right, you do it with care, you don't just throw it in there to throw it in there. You can do it. You can cross those mediums that way, and this show just does it so well. I think it's a shoe-in. I mean, it's one episode, right? This is a shoe-in for best adaptation at the Game Awards next year.
Oh.
There will be nothing that tops this.
No, yeah. For sure.
It's from the cast to cinematography to the music to the everything about it. It's A+ for me. I was like, Luke and I know
every single thing that's going to happen in this story.
We know the beats, right? We know what we're going to do. And Brett's heard us talk about the big thing that happens early on in the first episode. And they added to that moment in a way that, like, I saw an hour 20 and I was like, I wonder what they're going to do with this. And they spent a good bit of that time making that moment feel that much worse.
It's like 7 minutes of the beginning of the game turned into 30.
Yeah, it's like a 30-minute part of the show. And, like, that kind of attention and care to... They didn't say, okay, we have this thing we have to get to. They said, how can we make this thing that we're going to get to work better in this format? Because you're not playing this character now. Right. Now we have an opportunity to expand these other characters' stories a little bit. And I just thought it was just so masterfully done. My impressions are, I'm not worried about this show. But I am worried about my well-being moving forward.
I think it is truly amazing how many times I can see something that happens in this first episode. Exactly what's going to happen. I know when it's going to happen. I see all the things leading up to it, and I feel like I could, like, count down to it on a timer. And it still just hits so hard.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and I being the one here at the table who hasn't played the game, I intentionally,
I really, really, really want to hear your input on it.
Yeah. So. I think I understand the broad brushstrokes of the story, though, from seeing bits of games.
It is a
10-year-old game.
Yeah. So, like, I know how it ends. But not knowing the kind of the beats, I think, is what makes me most excited about this. And like you said, like we spent a lot of time at the beginning with some characters who are not really in marketing, and I'm like, okay, this is a prologue, and it just kind of kept going, and I was like, okay, like they're really trying to set up the world, with a great emotional, I don't know, grasp. They have this, they want to grab you with what had happened, and not, I think some shows may try and take that, what they do here, and spin it into a, oh, it's a little bit of a reveal later on, and we're going to show you flashbacks to get you there. I appreciated they were just like, timeline, here's over the course of 24 hours what's happening. And or not even, it's like a day. And I think that sets up the characters and the world so well. I mean, in reality, there's a quite a large time jump, and the world is completely different. But you understand the character and the characters enough that then you can spend the next hour really fleshing out what is this world that they're living in, what are the stakes that are now set. I loved it. I loved episode 1, and I'm very excited for episode.
Awesome. I do want to also add, I'm going to jump on the Roger Clark bandwagon, who portrayed Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. He's been talking a lot online about mocap and voice acting and how they're different things.
Yeah.
And just Marlene is played by the voice actor of the character.
Yeah, that's super cool.
And she talks a lot about how she got to grow into that role over the last 10 years, because that's when she was first introduced to Marlene. And I think that's a good, I mean, I really liked Marlene in this episode. Just, we'll probably get into that a little bit more later, but don't be afraid to cast the people who embody the character the best.
Yeah.
Doesn't always have to be based on looks. Doesn't always have to be, one thing or the other. Just go with the actor who resonates best with the character, and generally things will work out really well.
Yeah.
Gabriel Luna playing Joel's brother.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good as Tommy. And doesn't look like the character.
No.
And that's okay.
I didn't have any
blonde.
I didn't have yeah. That's one of those things where I had no idea.
But like he embodies that character, like he
dude, and
honestly he
they
sounds
have
like
good
their chemistry was so good too.
Phenomenal.
They felt like brothers.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
You go with the people who will portray your characters with the most faithfulness. And I think this show in one episode has done so well with that. And I hope that people who are always like, you have to cast this character based on how they look, can watch something like this and be like, no, you don't. You really don't. You go with the character, the actor who can embody that character the best. This cast that they've put together so far through one episode is borderline perfect.
Like, I feel like we knew the cast was stacked.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize Anna Torv.
I know, right?
Was
You
playing
told me
Tess.
that, and I was like, bro, what?
I'm watching, I'm like, that's the girl from Mindhunter. I was just like, I didn't know she's in this. And then in the intro, we got John Hannah's one. And then I'm pretty sure the other two people are pretty high up their actors as well. I will look for it.
Yeah, it's just whoever the casting director for this did a phenomenal job.
And this is one of those projects where it has like pedigree going in, where big name actors will sign on for small parts.
Yes,
which is nice. It's fun to see someone pop up and be like, oh, and then they're kind of gone.
I recognize him from Silicon Valley. The host. Have you guys watched Silicon Valley?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
the first season.
He's the kid who works at Hulu who keeps getting jobs given to him randomly. And he makes it all the way up to CEO or whatever.
Yeah.
Great show.
Brendan Fletcher was in this.
Yeah.
Like random, but you were like, oh wow, okay. Just tons of good actors and people who really obviously are fans of this project.
Yep.
So
should we talk a little bit more in depth? I'm curious on some of your guys' thoughts on specific moments, and obviously, I think our general consensus is we love the first episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The bar has been set high, and we.
I think it's super approachable too.
Yeah.
I heard somebody else say this. I think it was Jeremy Johns. He was like, they made this show expecting people who haven't played the game to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you don't know anything about the Last of Us game,
you'll be fine.
You will be perfectly fine.
Stephanie enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would."
Yeah, Dana didn't watch it because she was like, I'm nervous about the gore side of it. She's like, can you watch it and then let me know if I can handle it?
Yeah.
But she's gonna watch it. She's excited.
The gore will be there.
It'll get there.
Yeah, it'll get there.
But
this first episode
one wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't bad.
We barely even see the cordyceps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And speaking of the cordyceps, I do want to talk about kind of the opening of the show.
Yeah.
Are we in spoilers now?
Yes.
Should we consider the spoiler section?
Absolutely.
I'd say so, yeah. The opening, I call it a cold open. I don't really know that it classifies as one, but is like a talk show set in the 60s.
Yeah, very
with
cool.
two scientists.
Shout out John Hannah.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that was just so good. Mm-hmm. Because that's stuff that, like, when you play the game, it's in, like, the little notepads you find throughout the game. It kind of, like, explains all of that, like the little warning letters. And to take that and make it into something, I told you guys I listened to that HBO podcast, and they had a different version of that. They made like a video of the ant being like just like an animal like an Animal Planet video.
Yeah.
Because that's what Neil wanted to do, and Craig Mazin actually pitched that to him on 2 separate occasions to do the talk show. And the first time Neil was like, "No, I don't like it." Second time he's like, "Oh yeah, I like that." And like, I'm really glad that it made it into the final cut of this, because I think it really does a good job of setting the stage, and it also provides this like sense of doom throughout that beginning, because you get like, hey, this is how this would happen,
right? And
then like, you know, the episode starts per se, right? And like you kind of start to feel it in the background. You're like, oh,
dude, freaking grandma.
Oh, dude, you're like,
yeah, you're like, I know it's not gonna happen yet, but I don't like this.
But it's just so it sets the like the background of everything that you're watching kind of Sarah do.
Yeah.
And like it explains the cop cars flying by, and like certain characters' reactions or interactions with Sarah, or like the little radio broadcasts you hear. Like everything is just kind of building to this moment. But it all starts in that little opening, and that opening just sets it so perfectly.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, it's too real.
Yeah. Honestly, 2 things I love about the cold open. The first one being the tonal shift, because it starts off and they're like, "Oh, we're talking about pandemics," which is, I mean, it's kind of funny because we just went through one. And I feel like the whole kind of point of one of the points was like, this isn't that.
Right.
And like it kind of starts off as this like kind of funny talk show, and by the end of it, they're all like, "Oh, yeah, this is actually kind of scary." And the other reason I really, really like it, and it's more of a personal reason, is because The Last of Us is not a zombie game. It's zombie-like because, you know, you got people walking around and they feel like zombies, but they're not zombies. They're fungus-grown people.
Yeah.
And I feel like they kind of just got that in front. They're like, this isn't going to be a normal thing that you're probably used to.
Yeah.
There's something more going. And yeah, the tonal shift got me good.
I liked it a lot. It just sets it up so well.
And the host is just like, "Oh, we'll be right back."
Like, you like
Cuts
saying
intro.
no.
Yeah.
Title.
It was good.
Indeed. And then of course we get the prologue, and the end of the prologue where Sarah is shot was that it was very expected. As soon as she twisted her ankle. I mean, to be fair, I kind of had a feeling as as soon as I saw her, and it was like, oh, okay, obviously, like not Ellie, so something's gonna happen. But Pedro Pascal sells that moment,
Mm-hmm.
her death, so well.
Yeah.
It is brutal how he pulls that off.
Mm-hmm. And I hope people realize how important that scene is going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of allude to it at the end of the episode too. When
Yeah.
Ellie's behind her, and they're facing the one guard again. He's got a gun.
Yep.
I just think it's super important too that Sarah was not killed by the infection. She was killed by a person.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's a very important character development moment for Joel in really not trusting people.
Yeah.
He trusts Tess and he trusts Tommy. That's pretty much it. And I think making that the moment of how Sarah dies,
Yeah.
super important. I love it instead of just like, oh, the cordyceps got to her because
Right.
it's a horrible situation.
Yep.
And I just think it makes it so much worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the soldier was ordered to kill your child.
Yeah.
I did like the small shift in that dialogue in that scene, because if you don't know that's coming, like obviously when you get there, you're like, oh, I see how this is going to end. But like in the game, like the soldier says,
You want me to what?
well, he says that and then he's like, sir, but there's a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, oh, I know what's happening. But in
Yeah.
the show, they don't have that line, and I really like that small shift.
I think they do a good job too in the show of obstructing his face. He's silhouetted. In the game, you can see a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I really liked the cinematography in that scene because he's just a figure.
Yeah.
Also, just quick shout out to the set design and location scouting that they did. When he pulls out in the truck and it's literally shooting it from the back seat, I was like, dude, this is the game.
It was like,
this is the
it was
game.
almost exactly
The
the game.
street signs,
Jimmy's
are
house,
the exact same. I was like, oh my gosh.
and it should be said in the game you play as Sarah for the first 10 minutes.
You do.
Mm.
And it makes it so much worse when you're going through all this.
Yeah.
You're like looking for Joel in your house, and then he finally like breaks it out.
bursts
He's
in.
like, "We gotta go!" And you're just like, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah, no, when they pull out and you see the signs, they're the exact same signs. It's crazy how accurate. And the dialogue in that scene too.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, if we take 70 or whatever, you're like, dude, this is
It's
nuts.
just like the game.
It's straight from the game. Same camera shots, same dialogue, all of it. It's so well done.
Yep.
But yeah, that kind of scene that, you talk about what scenes will impact things moving forward, like you were talking about with the soldier killing her. Yeah, that is a big factor moving forward.
And you talked about Pedro Pascal in that scene. Just Nico Parker, who played Sarah.
Yeah.
Who is the main character for the first 30 minutes of the show. I thought she was so good.
Yeah.
It's like you go with her to school and to the shop or to the neighbor's house, and you just like fall in love with her so quick.
Yep.
And it sucked because everybody can like pretty much figure out what's going to happen. Something is going to happen to this little girl.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's it? And she was so good.
Yeah. And then they get you in that transition to 20 years later, and it's like killing a kid is everyday business now.
Yep.
Oh,
Gotta kill his
dude.
kid, toss him in the fire. Just another day in the quarantine zone.
See, that's one of the changes I really like though in the show, because in the game it's like they're killing people in the street for kind of not adhering to the rules.
Yeah. And they have a little gallows scene.
Yeah.
Here.
The game also just goes straight into Joel and Tess going on their first mission.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of padding there, and I like, let's hammer home that Joel's a smuggler. And I like the things they add there. Let's show you that.
I feel like they just hammer home really well. There's no good people.
Yeah, everybody's survivors.
Yeah.
That's the world you're in now, and I really like how they do that. Also that Fedra, is that how you say it?
Fedra.
Fedra, that they're not the best people.
Yep. The people you think would be kind of the good organization, they're not.
Yeah.
And then there's like the Rebellion, which is the Fireflies, who are also not that
Yeah,
good.
also
Right.
not good people. Yep. No, it's well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm curious how Ellie is introduced in the game because I
You don't even meet her until you're given the job.
okay.
Yeah, you don't. It's probably
Like the stuff with her counting in the room
Mm-hmm.
and her being chained up, you don't see that.
Yeah.
It's probably like almost 2 hours into the game, isn't it?
Yeah, Marlene is just kind of like I don't know,
Maybe a little less.
maybe one, maybe even less. It's not a long game.
No, it's not. You're right.
But it's just kind of like Marlene has a job for you and Tess. You meet her because her job goes wrong because she gets shot.
Right.
She's like, I need you to do this. It's kind of like a last resort job, kind of how it is in this.
I was gonna
Don't
say,
really
but
wanna do it,
yeah, this I liked how they tied in Joel and Tess's, their character needs and their character wants, which is to get to Tommy. They got screwed by this guy, and now they're offered an opportunity to get that, but it's kind of this opportunity of convenience or inconvenience for Marlene. I think it did a really good job of pushing those characters along in a way that felt natural to the world that they've built.
Mm-hmm.
Happy with that as
Mhm.
well. And also Bella Ramsey.
She's good.
She's
Yes.
good.
She's great.
She's I think she feels like she's gonna be fun.
I just love how like hostile she is
Yeah.
always. She's like she'd be like that kid in the Xbox lobby who trash talks everybody.
Oh, for sure. She does a good job of being Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
It is like ripped off the game. It is insane
Wow.
how well she portrays that character. And I've seen
That's
people
so
online
interesting because
complain.
I
but-
would have expected.
Oh yeah.
I would have expected in the game
I have.
for her to have started as a little more innocent, and
Oh, no.
No.
they would have tried to make you feel more empathy towards her.
No, she's like calling people MFers right off the
Yeah.
bat.
No. But see, but
Oh,
in the
that's
game,
great.
like in the game, and the show's gonna do this, and I know they're gonna do a great job of it. That's what makes those moments of her being a kid so impactful.
Sure.
It's because she's never there. Like
Yeah.
when you meet her, she's already kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Right? Like
she grew up in the bad
yeah,
world.
she grew
Right.
up this way, and so she knows no other way. But when she gets, moments to experience what the world used to be like through Joel's lens and like allowing her to be a kid again, those moments are just they're so good. And it's why you'll hear Luke and I kind of talk about the giraffe scene. It's why that scene yeah, dude, it's why that scene is just so good. And like when we get to that point, I know I'm just gonna be a mess.
It's my favorite moment in
Oh,
video
it's
games.
so great. But there's so many of those moments like throughout this story, and when like that's what makes them hit so hard.
Yeah.
And it's just, God, dude, there's not a story like it, like in video games for sure. And now we're getting it in TV, and it looks like it's gonna just properly do it. And I'm just so excited, man.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm ready to be hurt.
Yeah.
In all the right ways.
Same.
There'll probably be something every episode that's just like, oh, I know what's gonna happen in this episode. Like, I know what's gonna happen in the next episode. I'm just waiting for it. I won't
Yeah.
say it because Brett doesn't know.
And I look forward to discovering it. All natural.
I'm not excited for it. But at the same time, I am.
Yeah. Like, I'm just even picturing, like the spring section. Are they going to do that moment? Probably. The winter section. They will definitely do the winter section. I'm nervous they might even go darker. And obviously, they play in the Weeks Ahead trailer at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And there's a moment in the trailer and it's just like, I'm not ready for that.
Which moment?
I'm not saying.
Is it a moment or a line?
It's just a shot.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about it since you know the story.
Yeah.
But I also there's another thing that was kind of a copy paste is the end of the episode, kind of,
Yeah,
Um,
small changes, but
which is
because you're not playing it.
when you find out that Ellie is infected.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I pretty much know. I think I know. I shouldn't say I know everything. I think I know how the episode is going to start with its cold open before we go to the opening credits.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a very delightful conversation between all of our characters. Also, want to mention the opening credits. It's weird that like cordyceps can be kind of pretty.
Yeah.
Until they turn gross. Bloaters. But I saw Gustavo Sana. It's called Gustavo. I can't remember how to say his last name. He's the composer of the Last of Us games. He's the composer of the show, and it's just like, thank you.
Yep.
Because the last video game TV show to come out did not use any of the music, and it was stupid. And I quit watching it because it sucked.
Yeah. No, good music in this as well. I would agree.
I can't wait to watch it again.
Every
Pleasantly
time
surprised.
that guitar thing comes in, I'm just like, I'm sad.
Ready to be hurt.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't have that emotional connection with that music. You know, is that music used as thoroughly throughout the first game as it is the show?
It's mainly used like in the cutscenes and stuff.
Okay. No, that's fine. I didn't know if it was. It's because I think I know where it comes. There's a gameplay point where you can play that music, correct?
In the second one.
Oh, it's the second one. Okay.
In Last of Us 2, you get
is
to
it? But
play
is
the
it
guitar.
in a cinematic where Joel plays that song at
No.
some point?
He-
Oh,
He plays an actual song, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
never
know. I don't
mind then.
remember.
Never mind. I didn't know if I would continue to hold the same impact for me as it does. You guys have a lot more emotional connection to that music already, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, you're gushing over it, and it's beautiful, and I love it. But, like, I'm not there with you, and I'm curious.
A big part of it
if-
might be because it's one of my favorite soundtracks from my favorite game.
Yeah.
And
no.
I just love that they got the guy who made the music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Smart
Like we
decision.
didn't just get Michael Giacchino to make a nice little remix of it. Giacchino's great. He does great soundtracks.
He does.
But
All right.
I'm just glad it was the original guy.
Final thoughts. Anything else you want to hit on before we wrap up?
Just if you have a way to watch this, watch it. Whether or not you've played the game, give it a shot. This is one of those things, especially if you're not somebody who plays video games. This is one of the stories I feel like people are missing out on, and I missed out on it for a long time. This one is worth it. It's there's no story this good in video games, and I feel pretty strongly about that. And I hope this show kind of shows that to the world, because it's a story worth experiencing.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And I hope the businesses will always be business, right? But like I do hope that
What'd you break?
at some point, don't worry about what I broke.
It's all good.
Something got to break every week.
Yeah.
I would hope that video game developers, publishers, will have in the past, but will maybe say there's a validity to making our story as impactful as The Last of Us, because it's just impactful. Like I think most writers want to do that, but from like a business perspective, sometimes that's the first thing that gets cut. But if you can also make like an award-winning miniseries off of it, like maybe it's worth keeping that really, really good story in there because there's other business opportunities as well.
Yeah.
This is here to prove that it can be done if it has a good enough foundation. I could be proven wrong in the weeks ahead. I don't think I will be.
This might be out there. Like I'm really going out on a limb saying this, I think. Sarcasm.
Good clarifier.
What would be the chances somebody adapting a game people haven't played and they go, wow, that was great, I should play the game?
Yeah. No.
Isn't that what I feel like that's one of the reasons you kind of do it?
Yeah.
Like there's the storytelling part and the hey, we can sell more of this game part.
The last thing I want to talk about, Luke's kind of thrown some shade at Halo, the TV show this episode, which is totally fair and legit, and I'm not here to disprove that.
I'm just saying I don't quit watching very many shows.
I've seen quite a bit of, and probably just because I'm on the Halo Twitter sphere, I've seen quite a bit of like, look Paramount, look what you can do, and like, yeah, but also Halo was never gonna be this good.
No. Never,
because you don't have those characters. It's a sci-fi world. You have to build that up. The Halo TV show was bad, or not. I don't know. We didn't like it. I didn't like it that much.
I know that like The Last of Us has a lot better writing than Halo, mainly because it's not a giant sci-fi space explosion shooter, aliens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, there's still a good story in Halo, and I feel like they just needed to trust their...
But there's a good story in Halo, but it's not...
Trust the game.
It's not rooted in the games. It's not. It's rooted in the relationships between Master Chief and Cortana, and I don't know how you do that and make it completely faithful. I mean, otherwise it just ends up being Jack Reacher, which isn't a bad show, but it's not The Last of Us.
Jack Reacher?
What? Name any show with a male protagonist who goes around shooting things to solve problems.
Sounds nice.
Honestly, if there's any video game adaptation that should feel slighted after The Last of Us, it's Uncharted.
Yeah. Also,
hey, we want
Sony property who.
Hey, we're gonna adapt.
If you want to slap, fans in the face, show them Uncharted, because that's
we got Emmy-winning writers, directors, actors.
HBO budget.
Uncharted, you get Mark Wahlberg.
And
Tom Holland.
They blew all their money on Tommy
to
Boy.
play themselves. Oh my gosh, I hate that movie so much.
Oh.
It's not even my worst movie of the year. It's no third worst. There's 2 worse movies than that. White Noise and Morbius.
Well, okay, spoiler alert. We are going to talk about our...
it's a tease, not a spoiler.
Okay. Come back next week, and I think we're going to talk about our best and worst of 2022. Will be our official What the Fanboy Awards episode. So keep an eye out on social media. We'll maybe have some polls out there or a form that you can submit what you guys thought, and we'll get some fanboys and fangirls opinions on what they thought was the best of 2022. And until then, let me know over on social media or Discord. You can find us there if you find any of the podcast stuff broken. I'm working through it, and hopefully it's all good. And we'll see you next week. Okay? Bye.